Okay, so I am gonna try and get this house cleaned as quickly as possible. We have really let the house go the past couple of days because we've been working on our front yard and doing some landscaping. And so because we've been outside doing that, we really haven't had time to clean inside the house. So the kitchen is a disaster. We have a bunch of dishes that need to be cleaned. I want to go ahead and tidy up the living room. And then I am probably gonna move on to the bathroom and get that cleaned up. And then I also have to get a load of laundry done for my daughter. So that's my plans for today. I might add a few more things. I'm not sure, but for now, that is my plan.
I hoped we were gonna make it. He promised we would find the time. Dreaming for eternity, creating perfect memories, yeah. We hoped we were gonna make it. Little did I know that time would take us to...
So to kick off cleaning for this day, I am gonna go ahead and start in the area where it is the least messy. And for me on this day, it was the living room. So I like to start in an area where it is least messy just because I feel like it kind of kickstarts my motivation to clean. If I start in an area where it is super messy, I feel like my energy just goes down and then I don't want to continue. So that's what I'm gonna do. The first thing I like to do when I clean the living room is just pick everything up that doesn't belong in this space, and I'll take it to the area where it belongs, or I'll put them away. And then I like to go ahead and fix the couch cushions because they are constantly getting messed up. So I do like to fluff the pillows that go on the back, and then of course I'll just put the decorative pillows where I like them. And then once I get that done, I will go ahead and dust the furniture. And for that, I am using my Method Anti-Bac all-purpose cleaner with a wet washcloth. I just spray it down and then wipe it all up. I do like to remove any like decorative things that I have on the tops of like the tables or the shelves and stuff, and then just kind of dust it off. And then if I notice that the decorative items are a little dusty, then I will go ahead and wipe them down. And one thing I did want to share with you guys is I have this heart here on this little area below our TV. This is actually something my husband gave to me early on in our relationship, and we have had this for many, many years. And I just like to display this here in the living room just as a reminder for myself of where we started. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. You've probably seen it in some of my previous videos. But after I get this area cleaned up, then I'm gonna go ahead and clean the end tables where we have our lamps. And on the first one here, there was a lot of like dirt and dust. I think my son put his shoes up here, my 3-year-old, and so there was a lot of dirt from outside. So I just grabbed my Eufy hand vacuum and I just vacuumed that up. And then I will do the same thing I did earlier, spraying it down with the Method cleaner and wiping it with my wet washcloth.
Those days we were invincible. Splitting up would be unthinkable. Though at times it made me cynical, I wouldn't change a single thing. 'Cause you gave me you keep me going back to those days, incapable of keeping track of how many nights could pass. Cheap motels and driving fast, and the radio playing our soundtrack. Broken love, tequila and bluegrass. Evenings just like movie scenes along the roads in Tennessee. Dreaming of what we could be. From the back of your dad's red, from the back of your dad's red truck.
To vacuum the living room area, I decided to go ahead and pull out my corded vacuum. This is the Shark Apex upright vacuum with Duo Clean. On days where I want a super deep clean, I do like to go ahead and pull out my corded vacuum just because corded vacuums do hold a lot more power than cordless ones do. But on my regular day-to-day cleaning, I do just go ahead and use the cordless vacuum just because it's a little more convenient not having to like unwind and navigate the cords. But on this day, I did want to have a deeper clean, and with the corded vacuum, it does pull more dirt and dust out of the rug. So that's what I used on this day.
Sunday morning breakfast with my bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things I love, love, love. You could be the one I trust. All the second chances, they are nothing for us. I like it all with the cherry on top. Be one of the things I love. We don't have to move so fast, baby. I will show you how you can catch my vibe. And right away I saw much.
So as I was vacuuming the rug, I realized that I hadn't vacuumed underneath the couches in a good while. So I decided this was a good day to go ahead and move the couches and just kind of vacuum and mop under them. So I just moved this first couch, and it does sit a little more on top of the rug. So I just used my shark again to go ahead and finish vacuuming up the rug on that area. And then once I got that done, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my Tenco iFloor 3. I've used this in every single video recently, and I'm absolutely in love with this machine. It is a mop and vacuum in one, and it just makes mopping the floors so much more convenient and easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that to vacuum the area under the couch, and then you'll see me go ahead and kind of push it up under the rug a little bit, and that's just because a lot of times dirt and dust will get pushed not completely under the rug, but just kind of like at the edges of the rug. And so I do like to go ahead and take my vacuum and just kind of run it up along like the inner edge of the rug just to kind of get that area cleaned up.
Cause I got this list of my favorite things. You could be the part where it all begins. You could be the first and the second and the third and the rest of it. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night. Get in my groove now, don't be shy. You could be one of the things I love. Sunday morning breakfast with my bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things.
So I did run out of cleaning solution here, and I just wanted to show you guys how I fill my container. And pretty much what I do is I just go ahead and fill it with hot water from the tap. And I am using Fabuloso here as my cleaning solution. I actually just refilled the Tenco solution bottle with my own cleaner. I felt like the Tenco cleaner did clean really well, but I just didn't like the smell. Like, it didn't really have a strong, clean smell, and I am a smell person. I like things to smell clean and like strong, and so I just didn't really love that solution. So I kept the container because it does say you're supposed to use a cap full of the solution, and so I just decided to go ahead and put my own solution in there. Like I said, I'm using the Fabuloso, and it is in the lavender scent, I believe. In the manual it does say that you're not supposed to use anything but the Tenco solution because cleaning solutions that foam up can actually get into the machine and cause it to break. But so far I haven't had any issues, and I really like this solution better because it just makes my house smell a lot better. If Tenco did come out with a cleaner that smelled really good and strong, then I would probably switch to that solution, but for now this is just what I am going to use. And once I get that refilled, then I will go back and move the other couch, go ahead and pick up everything under there, and then vacuum and mop underneath that couch. And then once I get that done, then I'm just gonna go ahead and put all of the furniture back where it goes. And that is pretty much it for the living room area.
I'm the first one to get off at the station. There's something in the air that I can't place, and now I see a silhouette in the dark. It's like time has stood still. I'm gonna hold you tighter this time around. Now feeling like I need to escape. The world outside only made me numb.
When we moved into this house, I kind of had a hard time figuring out how I wanted the layout of this living room to be, and this is kind of where we landed. I mean, we did have it a couple of different ways before, but this I think just kind of works a little better, but at the same time I also kind of feel like we could utilize the space a little bit better, but I just don't really know how. So I just wanted to ask you guys if anybody has any suggestions of how we should lay the furniture out here in this room. I just think it's really hard when you move to a new place, because this furniture set we had bought for our previous house and it fit perfectly in there, but this space is a lot bigger and it's a different layout. So for some reason, sometimes I'll look here in the living room area and just think it looks off. But I don't know. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section.
Everything that we were chasing, I'm impatient just to see how you make everything fall into place. How you make everything fall into place. You see how you make everything. Bailando en la disco la canción soltera. Se ve que ella no está puesta para el amor. Yeah, yeah. Pero eso cambiará cuando ella me vea, girl. Porque lo sepa.
So before moving on, I wanted to go ahead and vacuum and mop this little area here behind the couch. I did actually vacuum and mop the dining space area, and when I clean, I do like to go ahead and try and get the floors vacuumed and mopped as quickly as possible, just because I don't like when the kids walk through, especially this area, because they just kind of track all of the dirt from this space back into the areas that are already cleaned, and that just really bugs me. So because the kids were home, I did want to quickly get that done, and to do that I am once again using my Tinco i43.
Ya no va conmigo, ya quiero ese hombre que me sepa amar, que me además de novia también sea amigo. Su susto no veo, qué casualidad. Qué rico es tocar tu piel, pero más rico es el poder conectarse. Se siente mágico solo al abrazarte. Tú has prendido esa llama que arde. Qué rico es tocar tu piel, pero más rico es el poder conectarse. Sé que de locos, pero yo te amo. Yo ya no sé ni decirte. Esperando tu DM, pa' que invites una ronda más, pa' que esos labios me besen ya y se repita lo de ayer. Esperando tu DM, pa' que la noche haga lo suyo, que la fluidez le gane al orgullo y que sea lo que tú quieras ser.
Es que todo tuyo.
So once I get these floors nice and clean, I needed to go ahead and do some laundry for my daughter. On this morning, I realized that she was running out of her uniform for school, so I needed to go ahead and get some of her laundry done. And so I went all around the house and just found all of the laundry. She does like to leave her laundry laying everywhere. I mean, it's in pretty much every room, in the bathrooms, and even in my car, because she does go to dance, and some days when she gets out of school, we don't have much time, so we will just go ahead and have her change in the car, and then I'll drive her straight over to dance. So typically I will find a few of her clothing items in the car, but what I'm gonna do is I'll just find all of that stuff, throw it in her room in a pile, and then I like to go through her clothes one at a time and just turn everything right side out, because every time this girl takes off her clothes, it seems like the underwear are always stuck to her pants or her pajamas, and then everything is always turned inside out. So I do have to take the extra time to go ahead and turn everything right side out, just because I feel like when washing clothes, they wash a lot better if everything is right side out. I know some people actually like to wash the clothes inside out, but that's just not me. There are a couple of her clothing items that I will wash inside out, and those are just the ones with like the decals that specify they need to be washed inside out, or some of her clothes have like rhinestones or sequins on them. That type of stuff I will wash inside out. And I do typically wash her clothes on a delicate cycle just because she does have a lot of, like I said, that type of clothing in there with the sequins and the rhinestones, and washing them on delicate just seems to keep that type of stuff on the clothes longer. And then also she has tights in there from dance, and her tights last a little bit longer if I wash them on the delicate cycle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get these clothes sorted through and then throw them in the washer. For those of you who may be new here, I wanted to go ahead and take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Veranda, and I am a respiratory therapist and a current stay-at-home mom. I am a wife and a mother to 4 beautiful children. I have a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And with having 4 children, I have my hands full all the time. My oldest plays baseball and my daughter does dance, so I am constantly on the go getting them to their activities. And then the younger 2 are just 2 little tornadoes that are constantly tearing my house apart. So on my channel, I like to share a lot of cleaning motivation, organization, decluttering style videos. So if you like those type of videos, this is the perfect place for you.
Don't care about what I say. I've been trying to do my best and keeping my promises. Never want a second guess, but when it comes to you, I've been feeling hesitant. I've been feeling hesitant. I've been feeling hesitant. I've been feeling hesitant. Get out my bed if you've been unfaithful. Yeah. Pack all your things and bury our label. Yeah. 'Cause baby, I won't take you back. Yeah, you know my heart don't work like that. Take what I said, throw it like a baby.
So I didn't have much time to get any cleaning done after I threw this laundry in the wash. So that is why you are seeing me folding them right now. So I'm just gonna go through her clothes here and just fold everything that needs to be folded and then hang up everything that needs to be hung in her closet. I am actually hoping to get her room fixed up here in the next year. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed for that. I have a lot of awesome ideas for what I want to do with this room, and I'm just really excited to get going on it. But right now we're actually focusing on getting our yard landscaped, and so that is taking a lot of our money and time. So hopefully here in the next year or so I will be able to start working on this room. This is probably the room in the house that I am most excited to decorate and just reorganize. When I was a little girl, I always dreamed of having like this really cute room, and I personally never got it. And so when I had a daughter, I knew that I just always wanted to have her have like a cute little princess room, and so that's kind of what I want to do. It's not really going to be princess themed, but it's definitely going to be super girly and just over the top, and I'm just really excited to be able to do that for her. And since she is my only girl, I have that excuse to spoil her as much as I can.
I've been feeling hesitant.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right. Lost in the shadows of a million stars.
Alright, so it is the next day, and today I'm gonna go ahead and try and tackle this kitchen. It is a huge mess in here, and I really need to get it clean. I noticed this morning when I was getting the kids lunch ready for school that I just had no space, and so I was like, okay, I just need to get this space cleaned because it is bugging me. So I have to leave to go pick up the kids here in about 45 minutes, so I'm gonna try and get as much done as I can within that 40 minutes. So let's go ahead and get some cleaning done.
Why am I near and far? Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are? Send a prayer if I'm out of luck. Send a little love and I'll make it back. Send me a letter and a bottle of wine, telling me I will be fine. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Halfway heart.
Honestly, when I walked into this kitchen to get started with cleaning, I was kind of looking around and I really just didn't know where to start. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and first go around and just pick up all of the trash that I see all over the countertops. And so I just grabbed a fresh trash bag and I just went around and just started picking all of the trash up that I could find. And then I did get groceries this day, so I had taken a lot of the old like leftovers and stuff out of the fridge, and so I did need to throw those away as well. So I just went through, like I said, and picked up all the trash and then also threw away all of the leftovers. And then once I got that done, then I was like, okay, now I can start working on getting the dishes in the dishwasher. And I am the type of person that doesn't really like hand washing my dishes. I know that is a lot of people, but there has to be a couple people out there who do enjoy hand washing their dishes, but that's just not me. So I was going to get as many dishes loaded in the dishwasher as I possibly could. I was initially hoping that I would be able to get all of it done in one load, but that didn't end up happening. I did actually have to do 2 loads, and then I did hand wash a lot of our bigger pots and pans and stuff like that. So when I go through to load the dishwasher, I usually like to find all of the cups first because I just like placing the cups in there first. And then once I do that, then I'll find all of the plates or like all of the like plasticky stuff that needs to be put on the top rack, and I will rinse all of those out and then put them on the top rack. I also do need to rinse out all of my dishes before I put them in the dishwasher. This dishwasher is not one of those where you can just put a dirty plate in and it'll come out clean. You do have to rinse them first, and so I do go ahead and rinse all of the food that is stuck on the dishes off. And a lot of times, because my kids don't always rinse their plates after they are done, there will be a lot of dried food stuck on like the plates and bowls and stuff like that. So I do have to go through with my scrub daddy. Actually, this is a scrub mommy, but I will go ahead and go through and just kind of scrub off anything that is stuck on the dishes, and that just helps them to come out a lot cleaner once they are done being washed in the dishwasher.
You make me change, like I'm better off with you. Like I'm better off with you. Kinda used to these battlegrounds where you flee, you don't stick around, no. But the way you've been giving me time, oh, it's something in me that says it's fine. Hoping you wouldn't change me. You got the same old thoughts, be my referee. I will be alright, never cut it right, but somehow you make me change.
So once I get the top rack loaded, then I'll go ahead and work on the bottom rack. And on the bottom, I do like to put anything that doesn't seem as delicate, I guess you could say. So anything that is glass, such as our plates or like our mugs, or any pots and pans, anything that is silicone, I feel like is safe to go on the bottom. There have been a couple of times where I did put like water bottles and stuff on the bottom. And when I first started using my dishwasher, I honestly didn't think it was a big deal, but there was a couple times when I put water bottles down there, and when they came out of the dishwasher, they were warped. And so yeah, now I am just more careful about what I do put in the bottom rack. So anything that I feel like will not bend or warp when it is exposed to high heat, I will put in the bottom. And of course, if I'm not sure if something is okay to put on the bottom rack, then I will kind of turn the dish around and just kind of look around to see if I can find anywhere where it says top wash only. And a lot of times they will have it written on like the bottom of the dish, but if for some reason they don't, then I will just play it safe and just put it on the top rack instead. So the last thing I like to do once I get all of the dishes loaded is I like to go ahead and put in all of our spoons, knives, forks, that type of stuff. And with this dishwasher, it has like the utensil thing on the side of the dishwasher, which I don't particularly like, just because when it comes to our bigger spoons, like the serving spoons and like our bigger knives and stuff, they'll fit inside of it, but I noticed that it will block the spinning thing that is on the bottom of the top rack, and that is supposed to be able to spin freely. But when I put like the bigger spoons and knives and stuff in there, I do notice that it blocks it. So I can't actually put them in there. I actually have to lay them down either in the top rack or in the bottom rack. And honestly, I find that kind of annoying. I really wish this dishwasher had one of those like separate racks at the very top to put all of your utensils in, but it doesn't, so I just have to work with what I have. So I just kind of wanted to open up with you guys a little bit through my videos and just kind of share a little bit more about myself with you. And one of the things that I want to mention is that I am actually more of a reserved and quiet person. Actually, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I remember back in high school, I would actually never talk to anybody, and that actually made it really hard for me during my high school years, just because I always felt like I didn't really have a close friend that I could talk to about a lot of stuff. And I do have two older sisters, but when I was in high school, neither of them lived with us. They actually were moved out and they were living with their boyfriends at the time, and so it was really hard on me, I think, going through my high school years, just not having somebody to talk to in that way. And honestly, I don't know what it was or why I was like that, but it was just like a weird mental block that I had where I just had a hard time talking to people. And so, like I said, that just made it really hard for me to make friends. And so a lot of times I found myself alone, and being a teenager, I think that is a lot. But for me, I always had the mindset of high school is not forever. So I knew in my mind that I wasn't going to be in that situation for the rest of my life. And so I think that's what really got me through. And then there were a couple groups of people who were super nice to me, and they would let me like sit with them at lunch, even though I didn't really talk much, but they were always super nice to me. And I am forever grateful for those people, because honestly, they really made my high school years more bearable. I do feel like as I got closer to my senior year, I did kind of start to open up a little bit more. And when I was a senior, I did try out for cheerleading and I made the team. So I was a cheerleader, and I absolutely loved that because it made me feel like I was a part of something. And I hadn't really ever felt like that during my high school years. So I feel like that really did help. But now that I look back, I honestly really wish that I wouldn't have been that way, because I feel like I would have enjoyed my high school years a lot more if I had just opened up and talked to people. But like I said, I don't know what it was. It was just like I had this weird mental block where a lot of times I wanted to talk and I wanted to say stuff, but when I tried to speak, it just wouldn't come out. So honestly, I have no idea where it came from or what, but now as an adult, I don't have that issue anymore. I do feel like I am more quiet, especially when it comes to social situations where there are a lot of people. I do like to kind of keep more to myself, but when it comes to one-on-one talking to people, I am able to open up a lot more, and I am just so grateful for that, because those high school years were a lot, and honestly, I would never want to have to relive those days ever again.
Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love.
So I am back. It is now evening. After I picked up the kids from school, we just got super busy and I ended up not being able to clean, but it is now 6:30, and so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this kitchen done, and that's probably all I'll get done for today. So once I got back to cleaning, the first thing I did was I unloaded all of the clean dishes and just put those all away so that I could reload the dishwasher with the rest of the dishes that I still had. And then I did actually find some more bigger dishes that I needed to wash in the garage, so I just grabbed all of those and I just hand washed all of those dishes, and then from there I went ahead and just finished cleaning the rest of the kitchen.
I wanna stay here with you.
So I wanted to go ahead and share a story with you guys that is relating to what I had mentioned earlier about me not really talking during high school. So I remember one time I was having a really good day, and I just remember I was sitting in the cafeteria. I think I was eating breakfast, and a couple of girls came up to me and just kind of sat across from me. On this morning, I think I was sitting by myself because the group of people that I normally sat with were in choir and I wasn't in choir, and so I remember whenever they would go on choir trips, I would be by myself. So they sat across from me and they were like, "Hey, we're a part of the yearbook committee. Is it okay if we ask you a question?" And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And the question that these girls asked me, I was so shocked by, and honestly, I didn't really know how to answer it because of the context of the question. And what they asked me was, who is your best friend, and why is this person your best friend, or like, what do you guys like to do together? And like I had mentioned earlier, I didn't really talk to people, and so I didn't really have a best friend. Like, I wouldn't say I had somebody that was super close to me that I was able to talk to, or like that I hung out with, because honestly, after school was over, I would just go home and I wouldn't ever hang out with any friends, because I didn't ever have anybody that I was close with like that I would go and hang out with. And so when they asked me that question, I was thrown completely off guard, and I was kind of embarrassed because I didn't have an answer for them. And I remember just sitting there in awkward silence for I don't even know how long, but then I think they asked the question again, and I just said the first name that came to my mind. This was actually a girl that was friends with me, but I wouldn't say we were necessarily best friends, but honestly, I was just like, I have to say something. So I gave them her name, and they asked me, okay, why, or what do you guys like to do together? Like, why is she your best friend? And I just remember just being like, I don't know. I remember telling them I don't know, and they were just like, well, what do you guys like to like hang out together? And I was like, I just remember saying yes. And I remember going home that day and just like crying my eyes out. I remember I just thought about it all day because I wasn't expecting them to ask me that question, and because I didn't have a best friend, I just felt like a failure, I guess you could say. And so I just went home and I just bawled my eyes out. And I just remember thinking like, man, I hope they don't print this in the yearbook, because the girl that I said was my best friend wasn't actually my best friend, and I just really didn't want her to see that I had said we were best friends when we weren't, because I was afraid that she was gonna like confront me about it, or like talk to other people about it and just say like, why would she say we're best friends when we're not? But I do remember when the yearbook was printed that they did actually publish that in the yearbook. And I was like so mortified because, like I said, I wasn't sure how she was going to respond. But honestly, she never really said anything to me about it. And I'm sure she saw it because I know she had purchased that yearbook. And I don't know, she never brought it up, which I was just so thankful for, because honestly, I was just truly so embarrassed that I didn't have an answer for them. And then I had to give them her name, and then they printed it. And so yeah, that was just one of the stories of my high school years that I wanted to share with you guys.
We got places we can go to figure out what we've done, what we need to do. Yeah, I got you, I got you, I got you.
You're gone now, but you're coming back. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind. It's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. Once you've seen all the things, all the
So to wipe down all of the countertops, I am using my Method Anti-Bac All-Purpose Cleaner in the Wildflower scent. I do really love this one a lot. Earlier in this video, I did use the citrus scent, I believe, but I do really love the Wildflower scent so much more. Honestly, it just smells like you're in a field of flowers, which, I mean, I guess that's why they call it wildflower, but I just really love the smell of this. It is really strong, and I've mentioned several times that I am a person who loves strong scents, so this one is just one that I absolutely love, and I will continue to repurchase. So like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this to spray down all of my countertops, and then I'm just gonna wipe them clean with a wet dish rag, and then also just gonna wipe down any appliances or like little decor pieces that look like they need to be wiped down.
and yet so close. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, you're up in space. You're in inside the noise, I can feel you. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart. I hope I'll be your destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation.
So here I'm gonna go ahead and clean these bigger like pans and stuff that I had found in our garage. So I've mentioned several times that we are currently working on landscaping our front yard, and my husband had a couple cousins come over to help him, and so my husband is a really good cook, so a lot of times when he has people come over, he does like to go ahead and cook and feed them. And so we did have a couple of things in the garage that I didn't really realize we had, and they've been in there for a while. So when I was walking through to take the trash out, I did notice those, and so I decided to go ahead and grab them and just get them all cleaned up. So here in our new house, one of the things that I don't necessarily love is this sink. And the reason I don't like this sink is because it is very shallow and it has like the two compartments. It's pretty much just like a standard sink. And I have always dreamed of having like a farmhouse sink or just like a really deep one tub sink. And so I don't really like this one that came with the house. So one day I am hoping to be able to change out the sink to a different one. We do want to get new countertops, and then we want to also paint the cabinets as well. And one of the big reasons I want a bigger sink is for these like bigger dishes. So I have like cookie sheets, really big pots and pans. We have a lot of like giant cutting boards that my husband uses whenever he does like smokes stuff outside on his smoker. And yeah, I just feel like having a deep one tub dish would just make washing these types of things so much easier, because as you can see, as I wash these dishes, it tends to like splash the water all over the place, and it's just really annoying how they don't fit in the sink. And so I just can't wait for the day when I'm finally able to get a bigger sink, because that's just gonna make washing these bigger things so much easier. And like I had said earlier, I am a person who really hates hand washing dishes, and so I don't really wash like my smaller stuff in the sink. If I'm gonna wash something in the sink, it's because it doesn't fit in the dishwasher, or it's my baby's bottles and sippy cups, because I don't really like putting those in the dishwasher. So anyway, if I'm gonna be washing dishes, it is because they are so big that they don't fit in the dishwasher, and then having a smaller sink just makes that task a lot harder than it should be. So yeah, once I get all of those dishes washed, then I'm gonna go ahead and clean out my sink. And to do that, I am using my Dawn Power Wash spray and a Brio pad to scrub it out, and then I will rinse it out, and then I will just go back with a dry microfiber cloth to go ahead and dry the sink out.
This is where my heart is. I've seen many places where the beauty never ends. Different cities, friendly faces, and perhaps I'm going back. But I don't have to be chasing every dream that I have. Oh, no. 'Cause the thing is, I've got more love here than I can bear. Ooh. Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why.
So now I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the stovetop, and I am using my Dawn Power Wash to go ahead and spray all over the grate and then also the stovetop itself. And to scrub down the grate, I am using my Brio pad and just kind of scrubbing it down really good. Then I'll take the grates to the sink, go ahead and rinse them off, and then I will continue to scrub the stovetop with the Brio pad. When I scrub my stovetop, I usually will just use my Scrub Daddy sponge, but on this day I had taken the Brio pad out to clean some of those bigger dishes, and then so I decided to go ahead and just use it on the stove. And with these little pads, you typically will just go ahead and throw them away once you use one, and so when I do use one, I like to go ahead and use it as much as possible before I throw it away. So I figured since I had it out, I might as well go ahead and use it on the stovetop, so that's what I did. Then once I go ahead and get it scrubbed down, I will grab my wet washcloth and just kind of rinse it off. Go back to the sink, rinse the rag out, and then just kind of go back and forth. And then I've seen people do this before, and I don't personally do it normally, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and try it. And what people do is they'll spray the stovetop with some glass cleaner. So I just went ahead and grabbed my Method glass cleaner, sprayed it down, and then grabbed a microfiber cloth to wipe it down. But I noticed when I was wiping it with the microfiber, it was leaving a lot of little fibers on the stovetop, and I didn't like how that looked. So I went back and grabbed my waffle weave towel and I just re-wiped it down with that, and it turned out pretty nice. Alright, so the kitchen is pretty much almost done. One of the last things I needed to do was to go ahead and spray down and wipe my stainless steel appliances. And to do that, I am using this spray away stainless steel cleaner. And at first I was just going to go ahead and use the spray with a microfiber to kind of wipe it down, because it does say it's supposed to be a polisher and a cleaner in one, but my appliances were super dirty. So we recently had my two youngest kids were super sick. They actually contracted hand, foot, mouth, and when they first got sick, I actually thought it was a stomach bug, because my 3-year-old was started off like throwing up, and so I kind of freaked out because stomach bugs are the worst, and I just really didn't want everybody in the house to get sick. So I have a couple of those I don't remember what they're called, but they're the wipes that they use in the hospital to wipe everything down, and they do kill the virus that causes the stomach bug. And I don't know if a lot of you knew, but the stomach bug is that virus strain is very hard to kill, and a lot of times just using even just Clorox wipes, Lysol, stuff like that does not kill that virus. And so I have a couple of those hospital grade wipes that I use whenever I suspect there is a stomach bug going around. So anyway, I had wiped down all of my appliances with that wipe, and the bad thing with those wipes is they do leave a really harsh film behind, and so all of my appliances had that all over them. But I noticed when I was trying to wipe it down with just the spray away cleaner, it wasn't getting that stuff off. So I did have to go back with a wet washcloth to kind of get that film off first, and then I went ahead and sprayed the stainless steel polisher on my microfiber and just kind of went back and buffed over all of the appliances to give them that nice polished look. And when I had initially tried this spray away stainless steel cleaner, I honestly wasn't really blown away by it, and I think it's because it's a really oily consistency, and to me it just seemed like it wasn't really doing much. But as I used it over time, I realized that the thing I like about it the most is that it tends to keep the fingerprints off of the appliances a lot longer. So if I don't use it, I will notice within a couple hours there'll be fingerprints all over my appliances. But when I do use this stuff, it'll be a couple of days before I start noticing the fingerprints. So I would say personally that is the one thing I do like about it. I don't think it really cleans very well. Like I said, it wouldn't take that film off of my appliances. I typically have to wipe them down first if they are super dirty, but I do recommend it for anyone who is looking for something to kind of help to keep the fingerprints off the appliances a little longer.
Self-advertising, you were not meant for me, still not surprising. Need no apologies, cause I just don't really care what you think, what you think, what you think. Shame on me, thinking it was just a phase. Got me like ooh, got me like ooh. Ain't no fun recognizing your mistakes. Got me like ooh, feeling so ooh.
The very last thing I did was I vacuumed and mopped this kitchen area, and again using my Tinco i43, I just refilled it and just kind of went over the floors. I did actually go over the floors twice, but I only filmed it once here, and a lot of times if my floors are really bad, I will go over them twice with the Tinco and it seems to do really good. I feel like the first pass I just kind of go over to kind of wet the floor and just kind of loosen everything up, and then I'll go over a second time and that really just picks everything up and gets it super clean. So that is actually going to be it for this video. I did initially hope to get my master bathroom clean and have that included in this video, but it is already super long, so I'm gonna go ahead and include that in the next video. And here in a minute you're going to see me talking to the camera. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I did film an outro on my phone, so I actually use my phone to film. I did have a camera that I used to film, but I accidentally broke it a while ago, so I've been filming on my phone in the meantime while I'm working on getting that camera fixed. But I noticed for some reason as I was filming throughout the day, the audio quality on my phone just got bad. So you'll see me here talking. I did film kind of like a little outro for you guys, but I just didn't want to use that audio because it was really bad. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching. I hope that by watching my video, you will get motivated to get at least one little task done today. If you get one task done, that is better than nothing. So again, I really appreciate you guys for being here, for watching me. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. I would love to have you, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.